My name is Colin Bell, Flight Lieutenant Colin Bell. Well, quite frankly, I was terrified. I'd never been up in the air before, and I went up in this little biplane with a United States Army Air Force instructor. He said, "I'm going to tip the plane upside down. You let me know how you feel about it afterwards." And before I could sort of gather my senses, the plane was upside down at 1,000 feet, and I was looking down at the ground. Now, I was only 20 at the time, and I'd never experienced anything like this before. And quite frankly, it was bloody terrifying. But he then reverted and put the plane the right way up, and he said, "What did you think of that?" And I said, "I enjoyed every moment," which was not true. My most exciting moment in the air, well, I suppose it has to be being chased around the sky in an ME-262, because this devil could fly 100 miles an hour faster than I could. And whereas the propeller-driven German night fighters couldn't catch up with me, the reverse was true about the jet fighter. And it was really a very terrifying experience. But as you see, I'm here. I must have survived. Being chased by the ME-262 was a terrifying experience, because this German jet fighter, once he had got a visual on you, you were dead. He got immense firepower, and once he opened fire, he would turn the aircraft and you into confetti. The most important thing, as far as I was concerned, was to make sure that he didn't get a visual on me. Once he turned on his radar, his air-to-air radar, I got a signal in my cockpit, which was a white light, showing that I got an aircraft coming up behind me, searching for me. This, of course, was at night in very bad weather conditions. So as soon as that happened, of course, I took immediate evasive action and dropped down 10,000 feet to get out of his radar. And of course, he pursued me down because he realized I'd gone off the radar, and I imagine with the help of his ground control, he relocated me, and this went on for quite a period of 10 or 15 minutes until finally I took him down low, because I knew he'd use up a lot of fuel, and I knew he'd only got 45 minutes from the time that he took off to the time to get back to his airfield. And of course this worked, and after a little while the white light went out and didn't reappear, so I knew he'd gone back to base. One thing I've not touched upon is German anti-aircraft fire, which was lethal. And the Germans had got their searchlights, which were radar controlled, and their guns all linked together. And once they'd put the searchlight on you, you were in the beam, and it flooded the inside of the cockpit, so you had no horizon. You had to fly on instruments. And it was in this situation that I got caught by anti-aircraft fire, and one shell landed under the aircraft, lifted us up, and at that point, both engines lost power. I didn't know what had happened, but I subsequently learned that it had interfered with the fuel supply, albeit momentarily. This was a rather alarming moment, and my navigator, who was an ex-Canadian lumberjack and generally used very few words, leaned across to me and said, "What do we do now?" Which I thought was bloody stupid. So I said, "Well, we wait, don't we? Because that's all we could do." And after a little while, Lord be praised, the power came on. I angled the aircraft away from Berlin, and I turned to him and said, "You weren't frightened, were you, Doug?" And he said, "No, I wasn't frightened, I was bloody terrified." Well, I was asked this on TV some months ago, and the lady interviewer said the same thing. What is this? Everybody wants to know the secret of your longevity. And I said, "Well, there are two answers. Which one do you want?" And she said, "I'll have both." So I said, "Well, the first secret is, it's not really a secret, it's a matter of luck, and it's the genes that you're born with." And she said, "And what is the other?" "Oh," I said, "it's a matter of exercise, alcohol, and the love of good women with the odd bad one thrown in." Greatest success as a pilot? Well, I suppose it has to be surviving the ME-262. But the greatest success, of course, in my career was going to see the film Gone with the Wind, which persuaded my lovely Kath to marry me. Well, I've never made any mistakes. One has to put these things down on paper, otherwise the whole business of World War II tends to be forgotten by the new generation and generations to come. It's important they should realise what we fought for, which of course was our freedom. Yes, bloody good fun.